Hi folks, Andy Miller here from Calvary Church in Claremorris. Today we're looking at the time when Jesus met a blind man called Bartimaeus. We'll pick up the story in Mark chapter 10 and verse 46. Then they came to Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, that is, son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called to the blind man, "Cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you." Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet and came to Jesus. "What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asked him. The blind man said, "Rabbi, I want to see." "Go," said Jesus, "your faith has healed you." Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. Jesus and his disciples were walking along the road, and there was a large crowd following after them. But there was one man that couldn't mingle with the crowd because he was blind, and his name was Bartimaeus. And each day he sat by the roadside begging. And I'm sure he was fed up with his life. I'm sure he thought that there wasn't much hope and much future for him. But he had heard about Jesus. He had heard maybe about the miracles and about his teaching. And he heard that Jesus was in town. And Bartimaeus had come to believe in Jesus. And he cried out, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." Son of David. That was a messianic title for Jesus. That was a title given to the promised Messiah through the prophets of the Old Testament. And when he cried out, "Jesus, son of David," he believed that Jesus was the promised Messiah, the one that had been promised down through the years. And he believed that Jesus was able to help him and that Jesus cared about him. But the people thought that Jesus was too busy. They said, "Be quiet, shush." They thought that Jesus wouldn't care about a man like Bartimaeus. And Bartimaeus might have thought that way about himself. Maybe he thought that he wasn't very important. But Jesus didn't think that way about him. And he kept crying out. Jesus said, "Call him." And the people said, "Cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you." And he ran to Jesus. And then Jesus said, "What do you want me to do for you?" Now Jesus already knew what Bartimaeus wanted, but sometimes he wants to hear it from us. He wants to hear our faith. And Bartimaeus said, "Rabbi, I want to see." Jesus said, "Go, your faith has healed you." And immediately he was able to see again. And he followed Jesus down the road. What a miracle! What a miracle! People thought that Bartimaeus was just a nobody, that Jesus wouldn't care about him. Maybe Bartimaeus thought that way about himself sometimes, but he believed. He didn't let what other people think keep him away from Jesus. And maybe sometimes we can be a bit like Bartimaeus. Maybe you think you're not very important. Maybe you think that Jesus wouldn't care about you. Maybe other people think that you're not very important. But Jesus doesn't think that way about you. Jesus cares about you. He loves you. He wants to hear from you. He wants to hear what you need. He wants you to help. He wants to help you. He wants you to believe in him. So why not call out to Jesus today? Why not tell him what you need? Why not tell him how you feel? Why not have faith in him? Because he is always listening. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time as we'll look at somebody else that Jesus met when he walked on the earth.